Alright, so before we go inside, this might be the end of this video. We have our piece welded up, and we need to go inside and see where to cut. We'll cut it, and then we can, when we build the box, we can place that in the correct place, and I think it's going to look good. Alright, so I've been thinking, and I would like this hammer this second hammer to iron out all of our mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes on the first hammer, or things I would do differently. So I'm going to do them differently on this next hammer. And I would like this to be like the end of the mistaking hammers, and the third hammer a really good hammer, like sellable if I wanted to. So I decided that perhaps my welding issues, my grinding issues, are less welder issues and more welder issues, more user error. So I had 0.030 wire in the welder, and it's a really small welder. And I remember having good luck before using the 023 wire. So I put the 023 wire back in, and my welds are much better with the 023 wire. That's a concern, because not just for the less grinding, but if we actually double up the plates. The last one I didn't double up the plates before I welded them on. I welded them individually, 1 to 1, and then I added the second plates. But on this one, I was planning on welding double plates. And as you can probably see, that leaves me a really big gap there. So either I grind them down to make that gap smaller, or, so that's 60 degrees. This one spread a bit on this end because I didn't have it clamped. But down here, this is the gap that I'm going to get at 30 degrees. And this is not too bad. This is the gap at 45 degrees with 2 plates. So, and this is one that I just took down to the basement and welded with the oxyacetylene torch with some R45 filler wire for oxyacetylene welding. So, you know, I need to add a little bit more, still warm. I need to add a little bit more wire, I think, in order to be able to get to grind it down and get an actual angle there. But it's not bad at all. It's not bad looking. And for my purposes, for our purposes here with a hammer, penetration is not that important as long as it's not all sitting on top a lot like that. I don't want it all sitting on top. Can't have that. It's all the way across, all the way around the hammer. That's way too much grinding. So this, something like this, for me would be a lot better than something like that. But I think perhaps with the 0.023 wire, I might be able to do this with the MIG welder, as long as I'm not getting too much porosity. That is a huge problem with me and the MIG welder, and I don't know why. It'll go from here to here and be great, and then just start porous, and I'm not sure why. So anyway, I think what I'm going to do is weld half of each of these with the MIG welder, and then take it to the basement and finish it with the oxyacetylene welder, and we'll see which one we like best. All right? All right. Oop, let me turn off that welder. Gets a little loud in here. So these are the 3 MIG welds. There's 1. There's 2. So much better with the 023 wire and that small machine. So these look really good. I'm happy with those. They're still quite hot. You might need to adjust you there. See if I can zoom in a little bit. Yeah, there you go. back a hair. Alright, so there they are. I'm happy with them. They don't stand very proud. This is the only one, the 45, is the only one that's really proud enough to grind down to an angle. The others would need, I feel like a second pass in order to be able to get an angle on it. But we'll try. We're going to try all of them. There's our first oxy. Oh, can't see that. There's our first oxyacetylene weld in a very long time. So, and that had a relatively big gap in it too. So, let me take these down, and I'll do the rest of each weld with the torch, and then we'll come back. All right, so we're back in the garage. All the parts are out of the vinegar. I have to say that I think what I've learned is the vinegar either has a life as far as time, or a life as far as how much mill scale it will remove. Because these last pieces, I only had a few of them in there, and it really is mediocre. And I added more regular distilled vinegar to the mix before I put these pieces in there. So I think either a smaller container covered, we'll have to experiment and see what the lifetime is based on. Is it based on how much acid etching it's doing, or is it time in an open container? I don't know. Somebody knows. But only like 4 people are watching this, so I'm not likely to get an answer. So anyway, now I am just taking all the pieces and cleaning them up, cleaning up the edges. My edges are, plasma cut, and then my plasma cutter is barely powerful enough to cut through this steel, so the edges are often uneven, and when I welded them together to grind them down to get them close to the same size. So I'm having to run them through. Gonna need a new grinder soon. So I'm running all the edges through just to take off the burrs. I'm gonna put a wire wheel on this side. And then, before I call it done, even though the mill scale is gone, I'm removing, I don't know if I'm in frame. There I am. I'm removing whatever is left, this flat surface. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm taking the wire wheel and taking it all off of there. So that when I'm done, the pieces look like this. Nice and shiny, as opposed to when I started. Dull, and I'm not sure what that white surface is, that this dull surface. But anyway, I'm removing it before we move forward. So we'll come back when I'm done with this part of the work. Alright, so here's where we stand. I got everything out of the vinegar, and as I said, it had a shelf life, so not the last things didn't come out as good as the first things. But I've got my little assembly here that we're going to cut. Go over this one more time. I've told you about this 17 times, I bet. We're going to cut and make our 2 slots here. We've got our 3 extra pieces with holes. I cut a whole bunch of extras because you never know. I have a whole bunch of round end pieces. I'm not really sure. I think I might just go with 1, but I don't know. And they're not exactly round. I need to work on them a little bit. These are our 45-degree pieces, our pieces that go on the nose, if you will, there. Crap. I have all of these. Hang on, it's coming. All of these for here. I need to clean them up. Remnants of the vinegar leaves a little bit of rust, but it's just surface rust. So these are the only ones that need to be cleaned up yet. However, since I waited to cut the ends until everything else was cut to get the proper size, I failed to put them in the vinegar. So they still have the mill scale on them. So I need to make another small pail of vinegar, throw them in. I might throw this in, this extra piece. These all came out really nice, so they don't need anything. The rest came out pretty nice. I cleaned up whatever this is, remainder after the vinegar. I cleaned that off anywhere it's going to be welded, along the edges. And I also have here's my handle, my beginning handle. It's going to, have some, whatever those things are called, chevrons, I want to say, those round chevrons. I made 2 of these. One will go against. I don't think this will actually fit through here. We could shove it. There we go. One will go against the hammer there. I think I need to thin this down on the end here and maybe make a line on it. I have to check the video. And then I need a pommel yet. And I want the pommel to start out with that shape. I'm not sure what I'm going to use, because if you look at it starts out here and then it gets cut down like that, and then there's the inscribed lines on it. So I need to find something, I don't know, at the Home Depot or Lowe's or a hardware store or something that I can take from this shape and turn it into the pommel from the movie. So otherwise, we're good to go as soon as I get the mill scale off of these end pieces. I really wanted to start welding up these ends tonight. It was going to be starting with the ends and then attaching the ends to the box, but it's all on hold. I made another inside 45. I don't know what I did with my old one. It's on the floor somewhere probably. So that when I go to make these boxes, I can clamp one with use my outside 45 jig to put these on properly, 45-degree angle, and I can tack them or weld them or whatever I need to do. Get them all aligned, clamp them in place, and then tack them. And then once I have that, I use this inside 45, inside 90 rather, I'm sorry. Once this is attached to this, all I have to do is bring this up and butt it against here. And my second piece will necessarily be at a 45-degree angle to this. Does that make sense? So as long as this is 45 to this, and I put it in this 90-degree jig, this is not, I'm not in there right, then this will be a 45. So that's what made it pretty easy on the other one. I had I'm tacking the inside, I can't see the outside joint. So I had to take a couple of them apart last time, but that's okay. So anyway, I have inside 45, outside 30, outside 45, and then an outside 60. And remember, the outside 60 is for these, like that. Like that. Because here's the end plate, and this is the piece that's going to go there. I'm not sure, I keep saying I'm not sure about things because I move forward and then I think about it, I'm like, crap, what am I going to do? With the other one, I welded them individually. I welded one to one. And then I came back and I welded the other ones, the second plates, inside to add weight. But I thought this time I would weld them together, 2 to 2. And that's what I practiced. Here's my examples of 2 to 2. So I told you I would, here's my, see if that's on there, my oxy weld from the basement. This is my first one. It's 2, just some scrap. And it doesn't have to have a lot of penetration, don't worry. So that came out nice. I haven't done any oxy welding in a long time, so I was happy with that. I don't know if it's high enough to make an edge, but I can add more. And then these are I changed my MIG wire. That's crappy. I changed my MIG wire from the 3.0 to the 0.23, and these welds are so much nicer. So I think I can get by with these. Even I think these are nicer than the oxy welds, the torch welds, because I don't know, my tip was clogged here. So these came out really crappy. But the first few came out nice. So I think if I can master this, I think this MIG, it's not the word I'm looking for, porous, and I'm getting good penetration here. It's not sitting too proud, actually not proud enough to get a corner. So I might have to go another layer or move a lot more slowly in order to get some buildup so that I can get an edge here and have a sharp corner. So I think we're going with the MIG, and I think we're set. So let me put these in the crap. Let me put those in the vinegar, and as soon as they're done, we'll start assembly. And I hope it's not going to be too long. All right, my vinyl decals haven't come yet, the test ones, so maybe tomorrow. And all right then.